areas the construction is much going on. At the same time, the whatever the current situations, and if you want to the our honorable prime minister's dream, say make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat. So in that also our civil engineers comes in the picture. So now most of the students are thinking that, and those who are coming towards the engineering branches, they are thinking that why we go for the civil engineers, because the current trend says that most of the students are going in that computer and IT sector. But if you read today's newspaper, that the honorable the minister from the US, the Donald Trump, he refused and stopped that H-1B visa in the America. So now, but obvious for our Indian peoples, this the US's close are US's doors are closed now. So now I think this one is the best branch in all the other branches, like the computer engineering, IT, automobile, mechanical, and so on. Now, first of all, what we are thinking that all the civil engineers are doing, just they are standing in the field and doing the works, and they spend their life in the field only. But it's not that life. The most of the what our engineers we can do, we can design, we can build, we can supervise the structure, we can even though operate the entire structures or entire system itself also. And at the same time, whatever the some repairing work, that also can be done by our civil engineers only, right? Now, if you remember the center portion, that world biggest bridge in Jammu and Kashmir, this is the we can say this is the proud moment for our India, that the entire bridge is done by our Indian civil engineers only, and this is the biggest or world biggest bridge in entire world, not in India, but it is say in entire world. It is situated in near the Udhampur area, right? And these are the some of the marvelous, say like constructions done by our civil engineers. Say like Yamuna Expressways, the airport, then the biggest tunnel, the transportation tunnel, Jawaharlal Nehru Tunnel, then the world one might be those who are knowing in Mumbai. They it is say like the highest or tallest we can say is residential building in entire world till now, and the world famous the Sardar Sarovar Dam, the second largest from the quantity point of view of the concrete, it is the second largest dam in the world. Now, these are just some of the different branches of the civil engineering, so like structural engineering, transportation, water resource, geotechnical, environmental, geoformatics, then remote sensing and construction management. In this, these are the various branches in which we can start our career as a civil engineers. Now, if we are starting with some of the branches, then if we go for the choose the construction engineers, then we can build, we can be have to manage the time management budget of the entire project. If we choose the our career as a geotechnical engineer, then we can identify, we can say the properties, how we can what are the different properties of the soil, then the bearing capacity, then which are the different type of the soil parameters we have to carry out for the foundation of our structure. We can all that's done in the geotechnical engineering branch. Now structural engineering, then where right now it's famous that about the structural engineering point of view, that we can design, we can build, and we can design the marvelous tall structures, skyscrapers, and all the things. If we talk about the transportation, we can construct the highways. If you in recently times, our in border was road safety point of view, then in that area also we can construct the highway in very rapid manner. Right. So these are the done by our transportation engineers, right, and so on. Now these are the some of the what environment flow for the different as a civil engines we can choose. Normally, as per the our government data, out of 100%, 6 percentage of our civil engineers choose the line as a non-residential building constructions, and so on. These are the normal softwares we can able to learn in our entire life of a civil engineering. Say like uh, say ETABS, SAP, StatPro, Primavera, AutoCAD, and so on. At least as a civil engineers, we must know any one software out of this. So we can stand in the market whenever we are required, when we are going for the job. Right. Now, if you are talking about the scope of the after the B, normally these are the different scopes like the government job, private job, consultancy, business, and further study. Now we will discuss all this one by one. Now, if we are talking about the government job and then public sectors, private organizations, and so on. Now, these are the some of the I mentioned some of the companies which come as a central government and public sector jobs, say like IOCL, BPCL, HPCL, NTPC, ISRO, and so on. Now, the question again arises that how we can apply this all the jobs. For that, these are the eligibility criteria, exam patterns, and where we have to apply. Say for the example, if we want to go for the NHEI job, then we can apply and go to the job portal, that www.nhea.org. But for that, the minimum criteria is say BTech completed with 60% aggregate marks. And right now they are give the jobs based on the gate score also and personal interview and so on. These are the some of the companies I will mention over here. There are numbers of the companies are available in the market, but right now I mentioned some of the few from the government sector point of view. Again, these are another's. Now, if we are talking about the state government and local authorities, say RNB, then Sardar Sarovar Nigam Limited, SMCs, all the municipal corporations also, GATCO, GNFC, GARI, GSPL, GPCB, all these different authorities are available in which we can get the jobs after the completion of our BTech. Now, these are the steps, procedure, how we can apply to this government job. Say, first of all, we can able to see the news announcement in the newspaper or Rozgar Samachar or OJAS website. Then after we can apply online through the OJAS government website. For the class 2 and class 3 and 4, only the document verifications are available. But for the class 1 and 2, we have to give some test. Say test 1 and test 2. Two tests are different type of the test are available. Then after we crack that, then we have to we have to give some personal interview. And if we successfully completing this, then we can able to get the state government jobs. Right. Now, if we go for the private jobs, again, it is categorized in the various manners, say multinational, national level companies, under private contractors, under government contractors. Now, if we talk about the multinational companies, these are some of the multinational companies listed out over here. There are numbers of the companies I mentioned that 100 plus companies are available in India recently. But normal selection procedure for all these companies are somehow similar. That the screening based on CGP and CPI percentage point of view. Then after we have to give the written test, then GD. Then after whenever we complete all these 3 stages, then final personal interview in the form of HR interview. Right. This is the selection procedure for the multinational companies like Tata, Sapoji, Paloji, L&T, Linde, Yaman India, and so on. National level companies, then Backbone, Fire, Bakery, NCC, and so on. Again, in that same, the process remains same, but the number of the candidates is a little bit less compared to the multinational companies. Now, if we are talking about under private contractors, again for that also the 5,000 plus jobs vacancies are available for under private contractors. But for that, at least we have minimum 2 to 3 years of experience. Now we are thinking that we all are the freshers. then how we can get this experience? For that, at least we try to start our career with a small private firms or very small scale industries where we can at least we have to do the job for minimum 2 to 3 years. So then after we can jump from one place to the another place. So it in that case we can get higher salary, right? After that, we can go for the under government contractors. Again, if you see the recent scenario that governments are give the contract to the different companies, and again, those companies are also hiring, or those companies also give the contract to the subcontractors. So we can work under them, and we can get some handsome salary. Right. So these are some of the companies fit for our civil engineering graduates. So I say JP Group, Germania, Punj Lloyd, Godrej, Oberoi, Realty, JMR, Hindustan Construction, and so on. These are some of the other companies, DLF, L&T, and so on. Sapoji, Paology, Soba Developers. Right. Now, if we go for the next one is from the consultancy point of view. Again, we can go with the consultancy in the form of structural consultancy, engineer in the form of architect or planner, surveyor, site supervisor, valuer, and manager or engineer in material testing laboratory. Right. Now, if we had start with the first one, that is structural consultant. Now, for the minimum qualification, say BTech, if you are completing your graduation, then at least 5 years of experience under certified structural engineers must. Then only you can start your own structural consultancy firm. If you completed PhD, then at least minimum 1 year experience is required. Now, scope of that about for the structural consultant, then we can design all the residential, commercial, and industrial buildings. And as per the recently government norms, and that is we can already known as RERA, then whenever we approved our plan, that your plan must be approved or designed by the certified structural engineers. Then and only you can submit your plan in your RERA, and then only your plan may be approved. Right. For that, after the qualification of and experience, we can register ourselves as a structural engineer in the various municipal corporations bodies. If I'm talking about the Surat SMC, then the registration form is also available on the Surat SMC Municipal Corporation website under the download categories. You can search it on that, and you can fill your form and apply as a structural engineer. Right. Next one is engineers. For that, qualification is at least minimum 2 years after the completion of your graduation, and if you're completing your diploma, then also you can apply for the engineer, but you at least for that minimum 5 years experience is required. This is for what I am talking about, the certified, or we can say licensed engineers. All right. Now, if you go with another branch of as a planner or surveyor, this is also the big demand from these surveyors and the planners also nowadays. Why? Because now the expansion of the infrastructure and the entire metro cities and urbanization, due to the urbanizations, the surveyor also play a very important role. How we can survey the entire area, because this is the very primary step for designing or selection of any site for the construction point of view. Now, site supervisor. After this is again the important category that whenever any structural design, whenever we construct any buildings or any structures, we must occupy or we must have to appoint any site engineers, or we can say site supervisors, to supervise the executions of the structural work, say the construction, the coring, and all the things. This done by the site supervisor only. Okay, and the qualifications and explanation is mentioned already that diploma, if you complete a diploma, then 3 years experience is required. Now this is next one is the valuer. Valuer also is a very important the as a civil engineers. Now, if you want to take a loan from the bank, then the valuation is required for our say for our home point of view. So if you start your own business in another area, but for that you have to provide some valuation, or you have to provide some give some documents of your buildings, right? For that the valuation is required. Okay. So value is also it's a very important branch as a civil engineer. Now, another one, if you interested to start your own business or doing the your career as a material testing laboratory point of view, there are numbers of the material testing laboratories are available, but very few are approved by the government of India as well as government of Gujarat. Now, if we are talking about the NABL, that is the National Accreditation Board for Testing and Calibration Laboratory. This is the most and very important, say the government body. If you want to start your own metal testing laboratory, your laboratory must be approved by NABL. Then only you can send your data, you can give your result, and it is validated in the government point of view, any RERA point of view also. And second one is the Gary, say R&D and other things. Now, as a businessman, you can we can choose the career as a builder or developer if we have sufficient amount of the money. As a we can start our own business in the form of private contractors, government contractors also. Now, these are the some of the points under the builders, private contractors, and the government contractors. Now, if we think about after completion of your BTech, you want to further go for the further study for the masters. These are the various branches. Most these are the only I have mentioned very few branches over here, but the numbers of the branches again in the civil engineering specialization for the masters are available. And best colleges, it is talking about our Gujarat point of view. I mentioned over here. Now, those who want to go for the further study in the further study in abroad, these are the say hot countries where we can easily get the PR point of view. Ultimately, our main goal is what we have to settle down in our life, right? So we can choose the career in studying in Australia, studying in Canada, New Zealand, and USA. Right now, USA is closed now, but in future it may open again. Now, these are some of the other countries, say like study in UK, Germany, Netherlands, Singapore, Ireland, etc. Now, the minimum requirement, these are some of the study exams we have to pass. Say like language, if we are talking about the language examinations, then IELTS, TOEFL, PT, out of three, any one or two is compulsory. It is based on the countries. So according to in which country you want to study, based on that you have to give the examination and you have to score good marks. And second one is aptitude test, the GMAT, GAT, SAT, and GRE. Right? Now, these are some of the 5 points. It is very important for any countries you want to go for the further study. Say, first one is statement of purpose. Why you want to study over there? That is the main point. Then and only it shows your what is your goal in your future. That is statement of purpose that is required for the further study in abroad. Letter of recommendations, you can get this letter of recommendation from your respective faculty members, you can contact to them, and they can recommend you as a letter of recommendation. Then admission essays. In fact, very few countries or very few universities they required admission essays, but most of the universities not required. But in this admission essay, you have to write at 2 to 3 pages that why they give you the admission in their university. Okay, so you have to mention all the points in the admission essay. Then next is student CV. You have to prepare your own CV. And last but most important, that is student visa. Now, this is in most of the students, it is very difficult between the bifurcate two things, Master of Engineering and Master of Science. So this is the entire table that Master of Engineering, it is purely for the professional degrees, but Master of Science is non-professional degree. If you want to for the technical experience, it is ideal for as a Master of Engineering. And this is I'm talking about for the further studying to, abroad only, not in India, right? Master of Science for the furthers of the PhD point of view. Then you can go for the Master of Science. Okay. Now let's see we one by one of all the countries study in USA. At least TOEFL you have to score and GRE. You have to give the GRE say 300 score. IELTS in some of the countries, some of the universities and the college they also give the admission based on the TOEFL and all IELTS score. So IELTS, if you pass, then it is 6 or 6.5 band is minimum for the apply as a in a USA. These are the some top 10 universities globally, universities of the USA. At the same time, global ranking also mentioned over here. Say the first one is Massachusetts Institute of Technology, global ranking as one, Stanford second, Harvard third, and so on. Now talking about the study in Canada, and this is nowadays this is the most popular country for the studying in abroad in the students category. Now these are some of the reasons. Mainly six reasons are, but obvious U.S. policy. Now as Donald Trump's already mentioned that he is not allowed to any H-1B visa holders. So but obvious we are not moving towards now. We are not moving towards US. Second is cost. Third again, Trump I mentioned. For Canadian policy, it's very easy, and we can easily get the PR over there also. Next, job and healthcare. Now, if I'm talking about the Canadian point of view, then for the student visa, at least minimum 5.5 to 6 band is required in IELTS, and we have to give the IELTS in the form of academic if you go for the further study in Canada. These are the some of the 10 top 10 universities in Canada as well as the global ranking. Say for example, University of Toronto, the global ranking is 28, and so on. Now, why nowadays why the students are choosing Canada more compared to the other countries? There are some of the few reasons that in Canada we can do the part-time jobs. Only they permit the 20 hours per week as a paid job. We can easily get the PR over there. Only say 12 hours we have to study. Then minimum wages of the we can get say $10 per hours and so on. Next one is we can at the during the study point of view we can also do the part-time job as I mentioned. These are the some of the work areas where we can do the part-time jobs in the form of cafes areas, restaurants, coffee shops, retail stores like clothing, sport goods, lifeguards, inspectors, and so on. So we can start our job also in the form of when we are studying in Canada. Right. Now, talking about the Australia point of view, student visa for the Australia overall 6.5 band is required. So it is little bit difficult compared to the Canada to get the chance study in Australia. These are the some of the top 10 universities of Australia and global ranking. First one is Australian National University. The global rank is 20. Now, next one is Masters in Germany. Uh, in previous years, this country is not popular, but nowadays, because of the free education, this country also is very popular in nowadays in the students community. These are some top 10 universities of the Germany as well as the global ranking mentioned over here. Now, this is for what about the entire scenario. If we bifurcate the civil engineering, then these are the some of the sub branches. The basic civil engineering, in that we can categorize water resource, construction technology, transportation engineering. If we go for the applied mechanics, again structural and geotechnical and environmental engineering also. And these are the some of the career scopes. If you choose your career in the transportation engineering, then the you can go with start your career in site supervision, engineers in consulting firm, work as a contractors, government jobs, and start your own material testing laboratory, and so on. These are some of the few scope mentioned over here in the civil engineering's point of view. Now, this is the entire workflow, or the we can say the stream flow, as we are beginning from the civil engineering from over here, and we start our careers based on your knowledge and based your capability. We can reach up to in these levels. So we can choose your as per our requirement, as per your our knowledge, right? Now, normally average civil engineers earn around 360,000 per year, but it is purely based on experience point of view. I just mentioned the salary in a generalized manner. Okay. Now, you must of all of up till now we are knowing this Burj Khalifa, that it is the tallest building in the world. But in Dubai, it is under construction, that Jeddah Tower in Kingdom, or we can say Kingdom Tower. The height is say 1 kilometer. Just image the height, and it is already under construction, and it is constructed by our not others. It is done by our civil engineers only. So proud as a civil engineers point of view. Okay. Now, as I mentioned in the second slide, the various constructions projects in India, you can see the first one, world one, the world tallest residential buildings. I repeat, it is the world tallest residential building in entire world. It is under construction in Mumbai, right? So we have to proud our as a Indian civil engineers that we construct such type of the marvelous and the skyscrapers buildings. Now, if I'm talking about Surat, come to the our local areas point of view, then in future we are starting this metros. Say the two routes are already designed by the, and it is approved by the government of Gujarat and central government also. And in this both the construction of both the routes, the huge demands in the of the civil engineers in couple of years. So we start our dream in these directions. Now, if I'm talking about my own universities, that it's a very beautiful university, say Ukata Sadia University. It is accredited with NEC B plus grade. We are offering the different programmings in, say, Babubhai Madhav Institute of Information Technology, CGPIT, architecture, pharmacy, commerce, all the courses we are offering over here. It's a big hub, we can say, for the education's point of view. I'm talking about the beautiful campus, lush green garden campus that Photobai Gopalbhai Patel Institute of Technology, CGPIT. This is the overview of the campus infrastructures of the CGPIT. I'm talking about my own department, civil engineering. So in our civil engineering departments are well equipped with all the latest equipments, and all are as per the government standards or Indian standards. These are some of the photographs of our geotechnical laboratories. We are performing all the tests in our geotechnical laboratory, and the metal testing lab is approved by Government of Gujarat and NABL also. These are some of the equipments of our highway engineering laboratories. It is all are under well temperature and well equipped, and we have to perform the practicals on the all these instruments in our laboratory. This is a section for the cement and concrete laboratory. Our MTech and BTech and diploma students, they are doing their project work as well as our consultancy work also we have to perform over here itself, say about the cement and concrete point of view. Then these are some of the latest equipment in our surveying laboratory. So we have the total stations, then theodolites and all that. We can, our students can use this in the BTech graduation level for the surveying as a part of one of the survey subject, that is surveying and advanced surveying. These are some of the equipment for the reinforcement or steel reinforcement point of view, universal testing machine. Fundamentals of the civil engineering laboratories, again in this compass and the dumpy levels are available in our laboratory, and it is well equipped and well maintained. We have the environmental engineering laboratory. In that also, all the equipments are Indian as per the Indian standards and fully equipped and well maintained, and all the instruments functional in very well manner. We have the environmental audits are also in our university. Now this is some of the photographs when our NABL team visited our university, our metal testing laboratories. I proudly feel that our metal testing laboratory of CGPIT Civil, it is approved by National Board of Accreditation for the Testing and Calibrations Laboratories, NABL. It is the body of the central government quality control of the Council of the India, and at the same time, our laboratory also approved by the State Research Institute Gujarat, GARI. So these are some of the latest or the certificates which we already secured for our civil engineering testing laboratory point of view. Now in our university, we are offering different courses, say faculty of engineering and technology, the eligibility criteria, durations, branches, all mentioned in this leaflet. Faculty of the pharmacy, commerce, design, planning, and architecture. We are also offering the architecture and planning courses in our university. Then paramedical and medical sciences courses are also available, say MPT, BPT, nursing, BSc nursing, and so on. Faculty of Computer Science, BCA, BSc, MSc, IIT, MCA, all these courses are offered by our university. The next, Faculty of the Science, in that also the various courses, branches, durations, and eligibility criteria is mentioned. Faculty of Humanity also we have to start this English branches for the as a faculty of the humanities point of view. These are the some of the many milestones still on future plans. Say we start our own medical college in future. Now this is the admission process. How we can you can get the admission in UTU. Say admission queries and students login, basic details we have to fill up, then process, online fee payment, admission confirm, and more details. It is available on the website mentioned at below. So just go through that website. You can get all the details. These are the some of the because of the current scenario that all of us we are not able you are not able to reach to our university. So our university and management open these admission centers in the various locations of the Surat, Viara, and Navsari, Valsad. The contact details and the address are also mentioned in the slide. You can go through it. And last but not the least, that YouTube www.utu.sc.in. You can go through that. In that website also you can get all the information related to our Uka University point of view. Now, after all the things, first of all, you think what is your own dream, what you become after your graduations. At least try to I think I say I must say that you do one thing, that you just write your dream on one blank paper, stick that paper on your mirror. When you are wake up in the morning, once read that dream and you start to think in that direction that I become after 5 years I become I want to see myself in this position. You just see and you according to that you behave, you start your work, right? So this, as I mentioned again, said that goal set. You start your goal, you think about your goal, and according to that you try to work out that I want to go in say structural design point of view, then think on that directions only, not go with what my friends are doing, what my parents are saying to me. At least now you think by yourself only that what you want to do after say 5 years, after your 10 years, what do you become you want, right? If you want to become as a good structure designer, if you become good planner, then according to in that directions we have to think. Okay? So goal set is very important in any careers. Now you can do. Now, if I'm talking the locations point of view, that Uka University is away from Surat is around 38.3 kilometers only. Then from the Viara, 35 kilometers. Hardly you can reach in half an hour. From the Navsari, 26 kilometers. These are the some of the photographs or of my university. We have the good learning resource center, and it is well equipped with more than 10,000 plus books available in this our learning resource center. These are, and we have a big PT hall, that is Pushpan Tertiary Hall, for our get-togethers and cultural activities. We have the green lush gardens, the, cricket grounds, and the circles. We have the volleyball court, basketball court. All the courts are available in our university, and we have the facility for the hostels, point of boys hostel, girls hostel, as well as we have good facilities of the mesh also in our university. Now, last but not the least, if God did not build it, we can say civil engineers did it. So thank you once again, and thank you for patience to listening me.
Thank you so much, Anup sir, for sparing your valuable time for us. Uh, there are one question asked in our chat box. One of the Akash Mukani wants to ask that what will be the future of for civil engineering after this pandemic situation?
Very good questions. Say in this situation also the numbers of the jobs are available, but for that we have to search the perfect job. If you go through the LinkedIn, if you go through the Rozgar Samachar, also in that also you can get the news or the current openings. So you can uh, search in that direction. You can apply in that various companies, and you can get the jobs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time and your kind gesture. Anyone from the audience want to ask something to Anup sir, or we will end the session?
Any questions?
No, sir, it will not be any question. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.